Hey, Christine.
Lydia.
Hi. There's Jane. Hi, Nancy and Gary.
Hi, Lydia.
Hi. Hi, Jane. We can see you.
Hi. Am I listenable too?
Yeah.
Good.
We can see you and hear you.
Yeah, great. We're making progress.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, Christine. Hi, Lydia. It's Gary Senecal. Thank you again for inviting me.
Okay.
Hi, Gary. Welcome. Hi, Nancy. How you doing?
Good. Hi, Christine.
Nancy?
Hi, Jane. Hello, Gary.
Hi.
Just need, well, I don't need any more. Okay. Once a few more people hop on, we can, and once it's 11, we can start.
I don't know how many people have you been outside today, but it's actually, the wind is so strong, it almost blows you over.
Wow.
Yes.
I just went to my little barn where I have my printer, and it was really quite scary. I mean, it looks beautiful, it's blue skies, but it really, I had to hang on to the building to get around the corner. It was amazing.
Did you see
So
the
you-
footage of the waves over Duck Harbor?
Oh, yes.
No, not today. I haven't been today. No. They must be extraordinary though, because this is a very strong wind. I noticed a lot of brant geese. It's right low tide, but they're all huddled together. No, I don't know how that makes them better, but I suppose they get a little resistance from each other. Yeah.
Wind block.
Right.
So it's almost 11, and you know that, well, we'll talk about it in a minute, I guess.
By the way, talking about Duck Harbor, there's been an enormous, the dunes are almost flattened.
Yeah, I think so.
As
I guess
you
the water-
come onto the beach and you look right north, what used to be quite a ledge is just gone.
Wow.
Yeah, someone posted a video yesterday of the high tide totally inundating and really being far, far back in that area behind the dunes.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Well, it used to be a harbor.
I guess it will be again.
Yeah, yeah,
At some
used to
point
be.
it will.
And an island too. It's called Griffin Island.
Yes,
Right.
oh, that's true.
Right.
We're going to be a series of little islands. Maybe after I die, but you might already see it.
Really?
That's where we're all headed.
All right, it's 11 o'clock. We have a quorum of the Wellfleet Recycling Committee. We can wait a minute or two more for others that might join us.
I'll take minutes.
Thank you. And Gary and Delia, are you both from Eastham? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct, Lydia.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for the invitation.
Sure. One of our recent members, Bethia Bramer, has, you saw the email from Beth. She's decided to not renew her membership in the recycling committee, but she'll stay on the email list until her term expires, which is in June. So we will have an open seat then. We can start thinking about inviting, someone to take her place. It'd be hard to replace Beth. She's been on since probably 2009, I think.
Really? Wow.
Something like that, yeah.
How long have you been on, Lydia?
Right around the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it had been kind of, well, the recycling committee had a dormant period, but it started in the 1970s.
Oh,
And that was to start when the swap shop was?
No, the swap shop was later. That was, let's see, we would have had the 20th anniversary, and I think it was 91 or something. That it wasn't as long ago as you
Okay.
might think. Anyway, shall we get started? It's 11:02,
Okay.
Yeah.
and we have.
Are we expecting anybody else who said they were coming?
Well, there might be Chris Wisniewski and Jaya.
Okay,
but they're not in the waiting room or anything. So
okay.
maybe they just, oh, there's somebody. That's Chris. Hi, Chris. There she is. Hey. And all right, so I guess we'll get started now. Chris, you see with us is Gary and Lee from the East Ham Recycling Committee.
Hi, Chris.
We usually start with Mike Cicali. He wasn't able to join us today. He's on, I think, a vacation, which is really nice. He's away this week. So some transfer station updates from Mike. He says, I started making the informational signs from the idea you came up with. I think they're going to work very well and help educate people about what they and we are doing and why. After that, I will focus on more promotion of our food waste composting. The Board of Health is supposed to discuss pay-as-you-throw in March, but I don't know when. See you next time, Mike. So that gives us a little update from the transfer station. And Mass DEP, let's see, there's Amy Wolf. I'm going to admit her. Amy Wolf is from the Truro Recycling Committee. And I'm going to put myself on mute for just a second because I get a call from Nancy Civetta.
Okay. Meanwhile, Chris, I'll fill you in with the first thing announcement that Lydia made was that Beth will not be renewing in June. And you're muted, by the
I'm
way.
sorry, I did see that, yeah.
I'm sure you can. Probably spent a lot of time online. Anyway, so she will not be renewing in June, so we'll have a vacancy at that point.
Mhm.
Lydia said that she's been on around the same amount of time as Lydia, which is like 2009,
Okay.
long time.
Hmm.
And we're sorry to see her go. She'll stay on the email list until her term expires. So we have to start looking for another new member. Lydia, you're muted. Lydia, you're muted.
The moment. Hi. So Amy's in the waiting room. Carol Maginot has joined us. She's from the Wellfleet Climate Action and Energy Committee. And Amy's still trying to get in. So I think we'll continue on. We don't have Carrie Parcell from the Mass DEP Barnstable County. So we'll wait on that in case she does come in. There was since we met last, there was a town hall meeting of recycling committees from all over the Cape. That was really useful. Cape Cod Commission Waste Diversion Contract. I don't know if some of you had a chance to read through that, but the Cape Cod Commission is basically doing an inventory of recycling and waste reduction services on the Cape. And I think there's one piece of it is studying the feasibility of having a large scale composting, maybe an anaerobic digester or some other kind of a system up Cape. And they talked about the Joint Base Cape Cod, or that all the kind of military land that's there, the acreage is maybe there's something that could happen there, which would be pretty good, I think.
It'd be a better use than the machine gun range.
Yeah, right.
Never mind. Okay.
I guess those facilities are not very nice to be near to, are they? Is that why you need a lot of land?
I think they're really all enclosed.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of
anaerobic
water
digest-
pollution. They're watching the plume of water pollution from vehicles and whatnot that have been there over the years.
I see.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there's Jaya. She's another one of our members. So. All right. Good. Christine, do you have anything else to add about the Mass DEP or Cape Cod Commission?
No, I don't. I did
Okay.
take some notes on it, but I don't have them handy.
Okay.
It sounded as though they were going to provide some more information through Carrie because we wanted to sort of know the details of how they were going to look for waste streams that to target in terms of reduction or diversion. And we weren't, some of us had some questions about that.
Mhm. And the town hall that, I'm just looking at some of my notes from that meeting, and Carrie had mentioned that in, for instance, Orleans needed 6,000 tons of fill for their sewer project, and Dennis, the town of Dennis, where our glass goes to get crushed up into processed glass aggregate, was able to provide 2,200 tons. So that's just gives you an idea of the numbers. You know, Orleans needed 6,000 and what had been produced so far was 2,200 tons. But it's I think it's a good way of keeping the recyclables, you know, rather than trucking them off Cape, they're getting ground up here and used in projects here. And it's, you know, we would love it if those bottles would be refilled instead. But right now, that's not where the bottlers are. And maybe in the future, they'll return to refilling bottles rather than having them be single use. So that was
I
one
had
of
a
the
few other
notes.
notes from that meeting, Lydia.
What's that?
I had a few other notes from the town hall.
Sure. Yeah.
Both Falmouth and Mashpee passed NIPS sale bans, like they can't sell
Oh, that's
bottles
good.
at all. Yes. So that got us interested, and we talked about maybe having some subgroup discussions with different recycling committees about things of interest. That's definitely one that we're interested in. And I think, Lydia, you asked about if Brewster, which has pay-as-you-throw, ever paused the use of the pay-as-you-throw bags, and they didn't. Whereas Wellesley did, and we're still waiting for them to restart. And then was it, I guess it was Alan that was talking about the Falmouth Comprehensive Litter Bylaw. And I don't remember if they had actually passed it or whether they were working on it. And they were interested.
They were looking at it.
Okay. And they were asking if other towns had anything like that. And Lydia sent an email to our town manager, no, town, they changed it.
The health agent and the
And our town, not manager.
administrator.
There you go. About it, but no response. And apparently Chelsea, which was one of the first Massachusetts town to pass a NIPS ban, had some legal actions against them by the liquor stores, but apparently that's gone away. So there's no pending legislation. And that's all I had from that.
Okay, thanks. Let's see.
Is anybody suggesting nips in some in a, like metal or something that they could reuse?
Not that
I
I know
haven't
of.
seen that. I haven't seen
No,
that yet.
no.
Some are still in glass, but most of the ones that we find on the roadway are
Yeah, plastic, yeah.
Or plastic, yeah.
And there's no deposit on them. I mean, I don't know if a
Yeah,
25-cent deposit would make a difference or something like that, but maybe that's something to look into as well as the outright ban. I know there's interest for a ban, and even we sent a letter to the select board some years back about that. Seems like there's some momentum for that to happen on the Cape. And
Yeah. And right now, Meg Morris of the Anti-Litter Coalition on the Cape is doing a survey to get a comprehensive list of where every town is on, various bans, plastic, polystyrene, etc., including NIPS. So hopefully we'll see that list soon, which will be very helpful.
yeah. All right, so let's see, we have number 2 is commercial water bottle ban outreach plan. Care for the Cape and Islands had a webinar the other day, and one thought is to reach the businesses through the Wellesley Chamber of Commerce. So Christina's working on that.
I haven't done much yet. There were, I mean, other than talking to my friend who's on the board, but Were any, I know that Gary was on that call. Were any other RC members who you were on it, Chris? Yeah. I thought it was really, really well done and really interesting presentations by the Nantucket. What was she? Was she like the DPW? She worked for the DPW, so she was a town employee. And she talked about how they had worked very closely with businesses on a one-on-one basis, and they have a complete ban on single-use plastics, not just bottles.
Bottles.
water
Good.
bottles.
Good.
So it's been very comprehensive, and they worked very closely with the Stop and Shop on Nantucket to find replacement products. And I remember the Stop and Shop manager was on the call as well. He talked about their difficulty finding replacements, compostable Keurig replacements, because those are plastic too. So, and hopefully we'll be getting more information from them. But Nantucket seemed to have a very successful rollout and really worked on compliance with businesses as a partnership. That might be unique to Nantucket, I don't know. And then also someone from Concord was there, and they had a lot of interesting materials. Well, first of all, on their visitor center map that like the Chamber of Commerce gave out, they had the locations of their refill stations.
That's good.
And then they also had a brochure. I think, was it Nantucket that had the app? It was not tap, she said a tap map.
Right.
No, that was
I-
Concord.
I think
But
that was,
just, I think, paper.
yeah,
that
I think that
Concord?
was, yeah, it was Concord. And I think on that same map, they listed businesses where you could refill your
Oh, right, yes.
bottles. I thought that was a great idea.
So that's, I think, the number one great thing to do. And to
Yeah.
have like they had a decal too.
Right.
Christine, yeah, exactly. I was going to bring that up, Christine. They had a neat decal that they could put on the window indicating that they can, people can refill their bottles there.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
I believe they also had a map visible out there in what would be the town square.
right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I had a
yeah,
large
they both
decal.
were very, yeah, yeah, Concord, yeah.
That sounds good. I was looking at Google Maps too, and I was thinking, is there a way for it to appear on Google Maps?
Well,
Water.
It is.
the way that one of the towns, Arthur's Vineyard, did it is they, you can use a Google map and put anything you want on it and then have that available at a URL. And that's what they did. They just located all of the water stations in the area on a little Google map. I
So
have a
that
copy of
means
it somewhere.
That anytime someone would go to a Google map, those things would appear, or?
No, it was, I
No.
think it was a PDF. I don't think it was that you could,
Oh.
use it to navigate, because then it would have to be
Right. It
available.
seemed like they were especially focused on the bike trails, having water stations near the bike paths, and they were
Mhm.
also talked
Mhm.
about a kind of
Yeah.
communal drinking fountain that they had in Concord that was super popular.
Right.
Dozens
Yeah.
of bicyclists using it, filling up there.
And turning them off 1 or 2 months in the winter, I believe. I don't
That's
remember.
right.
exactly which
Yeah.
one.
I think she said November through April.
Mm.
Uh,
It kind of makes sense too, because there's just not as many thirsty people, because in winter when it's cold out,
mhm.
there
But
is.
I think the map and getting businesses like P&B has their outdoor water fountain now. Unfortunately, they don't have a refill, but you can use a water fountain. So they're open now, so we could approach them about this idea of having a map with locations on it and decals.
Mhm.
So
If-
that's sort of an actionable right away if anybody wants to work on that.
If we're interested in producing a map like that, I'm on the Wellfleet Porch Fest committee, and Andrea Poulhar is on it also, and she made a lovely map of the town for the different stages. And I
Oh.
could ask her if we could have like the base of the map
Yeah. Awesome.
that we could sort of
That'd be good.
start with.
And what committee did you say that was?
The Wellfleet Porch Fest committee.
Oh, Porch Fest, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really nice job with their.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I can ask Andrea.
Okay.
She used to be on the recycling committee, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Andrea
Yeah.
did?
Yeah,
Long time ago.
graphic designer and artist, so.
Yeah,
Right.
she's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good.
So, so that's something, I mean, we can all keep in the back of our mind if we, as businesses open, about getting them to join in, or maybe we should have some kind of something go out.
I
Anyway,
think so.
that's one of the things to definitely work on.
Is the decal the first thing to do, maybe, is to come up with a design for that by the next meeting?
For the map?
For the decal?
Oh, for the decal.
Oh, for
Yeah.
decal, yeah.
I didn't have a chance to look at what the decal looked like in Concord. What,
Apparently they were going to send
I bet you can find it online.
electronically to
Yeah.
post on the website.
hmm,
And I did got an email from Jill and I asked her about that, if she'd gotten anything yet from the participants.
right.
But we can
There's
ask
a nice
Jill.
one, sorry, there's a nice one that the British used that I found. I can send that to you. It's a big blue water drop.
Hmm,
I think that's what they said the Concord symbol was, the water drop on the map.
hmm.
Nice image, yeah.
And
Anyway,
didn't somebody have an app? It wasn't the one that Madhavi was talking about. I can't find that, the find water
yeah,
app
that's a
anymore.
concern about the apps, is that they seem to come and go.
Yeah.
It's still there.
It is?
Yeah, I was just
What is
looking
it,
at it the
what
other
is it
day.
called? Because I couldn't find it. Is it called Find Water or
I
something?
thought it was something like tap.
So I
Well, we
set
can
up an
send
account.
that around to
Yeah,
people.
it's called tap. Tap.
Tap app? Just
Tap.
the-
Just TAP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll try again.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the one that they had targeted as, I don't think anyone started adding information to it yet, but you can just become an administrator. It's basically a crowdsourcing thing that people just add locations as they find them.
Mm.
There aren't any out here yet. But we can start with that too, because that's an app people can download and then it can hopefully grow as people identify and add. And someone mentioned that there was also one that bicycle groups use that lets them find water around, like.
Probably is, yeah.
or by
I
bike.
think Concord said that.
Right.
I got it. I think Concord
Yeah.
said that. Yeah.
I can look for other apps that are available. I'll do some research on that.
As far as the commercial water bottle ban and the outreach to businesses, the ban goes into effect in September, and I guess right around now is the time when they're starting to place their orders for things, or is that, I guess it varies from business to business, but
I think so.
maybe it would be a good thing to send something out with the spring approaching pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Through
To
the
the
chamber.
I've seen snowdrops already, by the way. Talking about spring.
Mhm.
Snowdrops on Wits Lane.
Mhm.
Nice. Do you think that Sustainable Practices, Madhavi, has a plan in place yet for?
I've talked to her, and I think she's really busy she has a lot of commitments right now. She was going to give me contact numbers for Orleans and P-Town. And Gary, I'd already gotten in touch with, or he got in touch with me. I can't remember. Anyway, we found each other.
She's
But I haven't
frenetically
heard
busy.
anything back from her.
Yeah.
You know, Gary, who the Orleans or Provincetown representatives were for the bottle ban?
Yes,
You do know their names?
yes.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to reach out to them or provide contact info so we could see if they might be interested in joining
Absolutely, absolutely.
the Outer Cape Towns?
Sure. P-Town
Does-
and Orleans. Sure,
Does-
I'll be happy to do that. I'll be
Okay,
happy to do that. And Madhavi's also pretty well versed on the TAP app and how that works. And she's very much in communication with those people often.
oh, okay, great.
So I can add some information on that too.
Do you know if anyone started populating the app with,
No,
okay,
no, nothing I'm aware of, Christine.
alrighty. So she's in touch with them, good.
Yeah. But Christine, I'm sure you feel the same way I do. I think it was a great opportunity for us to take advantage of Nantucket's
Absolutely.
and Concord's experience in this, because they're way ahead of us. I think Concord was 2014. And of course, Nantucket had their ban passed in 2018. So
Right.
yeah, they got quite a bit of mileage underneath their
Yeah.
belts
Yep.
on this. So it was interesting to listen to their experiences. It was great opportunity, I think.
Mhm.
Very informative. I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Okay,
moderator
so-
was great. She's the executive director of, is it Lower Cape TV? I
Lower
think.
Cape TV. mhm.
Yeah.
She was the moderator.
Right.
We ought to get the Provincetown Independent to do an article on that. Send somebody off to Nantucket. Because they've been pretty good, haven't they, on recycling issues?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They've had a
Mhm.
compostable packaging bylaw since, I think, 1990 or 1989.
Mhm.
All right,
so-
so
So maybe, and I'll get in touch with Jill and see if I can get in touch with Concord and
Concord.
Nantucket to find out directly about some resources that we can use.
Concord's like a Wellfleet that it has a lot of national park there. So is the National Seashore going to also put in filling stations?
They're quite a bit ahead of us. They have,
Yeah.
well, they have one at Salt Pond.
Okay, yeah. How about, do you think
And
Marconi at the
I
various?
think at Postcard Beach, we can definitely talk to them about, adding those to the app if that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, the Nantucket, one of the issues, they have really, really good water there apparently. And so there's town water, but then there are places where there's no town water where they're not able to provide fountains. And we have a similar issue in many ways. We have town water in the town center and in other, a few other parts of town, but
Not at the beaches.
yeah, there's town water at the senior center, so that's good.
Mhm.
That's where the bike path is right now, or going to be.
Right.
All right, and okay, so from that, we'll go to plastic reduction. Aquaculture, we don't have any updates on that. I heard from Tom Sigia of the Shellfish Advisory Board, and he said he'll just bring it up at an upcoming meeting. So that's to be continued, and maybe that earlier it was Nancy Chavetta on the phone. I'll see what their plans are, because I know that the Center for Coastal Studies and the Shellfish Advisory Board folks and the Shellfish Constable might apply for a Mass DEP grant having to do with reducing plastics and aquaculture. I was at Duck Harbor the other day and I found, one of these are the tags that are used to close or to identify a bag of shellfish. And then this was interesting. This is an oyster with a zip tie stuck.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
Thrown into it. Huh?
Yeah, it's thrown into it. So
That's a good.
Yeah. Could you take a picture of that, Lydia?
That's a good piece of evidence.
yeah, Exhibit A here. And
Yeah.
this is the good thing about this is that it's brightly colored, so you can find it, and pick it up and throw it out.
And some of them have the names on them, and you could actually find out who they're from. I picked up
Yes,
some this weekend. That way.
Culprits are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's your garbage back.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the NIPS we have under plastic reduction here, we talked about that briefly, and I guess what we could do is get out. I have that letter that we sent, I think, to the select board and to the state of Massachusetts about supporting a NIPS bylaw. So I'll send that out to everybody just so it's on the front burner again. We have packaging and litter. The packaging is, always the problem. Shop with your feet and try to just buy things that aren't in plastic containers as much as you can. I know that Chris did a good post on that. I think it was the Instagram post.
I've done a couple, yeah.
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 And people seem to really like them. They've been responding to them well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And litter, yeah, Chris brought up Meg Morris's group. It's the Cape Cod Anti-Litter Coalition. It's a nonprofit. They have a website. And one of the issues with litter is we have bylaws in place, but it's really hard to enforce them. I think you have to catch the person in the act, or you have to have some identifier. You have to look through the garbage perhaps and find some sort of an I mean, would people do that? I don't know. I don't think that's something we want to get into. But there are signs around, littering. The fines are significant, but it still goes on. I think reducing the packaging is really key, and that's where maybe that NIPS ban comes into place too.
But this has always been a problem with, we don't allow alcohol on the beach, but nobody takes any notice and nobody enforces it.
Right.
I don't know if the litter's ever been enforced for anyone.
I
It
can
would be
ask the,
interesting to look and see on the records.
yeah, exactly. When was the last fine that was given for littering?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if there's been much in recent years, but that's a good question. Does someone want to call the Wellesley Police Department, kind of look into that?
I'll do that.
Thanks,
I'll do
Jaya.
that. By the way, Lydia, I don't know if you got, or either of you got to notice that I had trouble getting in. I was so frozen. And unfortunately, I have to leave early today. So if I sign out about 1:15, that's why. Just to
Okay.
let you know. So, but thank you. But I will write to check with the police department on that.
Thank you. All right, we're now at number 5, or unless you have anything more for number 3.
We
Yeah.
can't even get people who have dogs to pick up their dog poop. We
Yeah.
have signs, we have efforts and free bags at parks, take a bag. We can't even get that to happen.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem with there was something in the Provincetown Independent too, an article about people leaving their dog waste behind at the beaches. They've gone through the effort to pick it up and put it in a plastic bag, but
I don't understand that.
yeah.
Then they leave, I keep hoping it just fell out of their pocket. That they didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. That really solidifies my fantasy.
Yeah.
Put it over there.
Well, having those signs, the Take Care Cape Cod campaign has some cute, I can't remember what the poop one was, but they have one about, in a playful way, asking people to clean up after their.
Yeah.
And that might be more effective than just a sign that says, don't litter, and here's the fine.
Simon says.
Putting the signs up, when you put signs up in the National Seashore, sometimes people complain of too many signs. So it's a balancing act, but maybe, to take some of those Take Care, that campaign, and revisit that with the DPW and see if they put out some small ones, just as a kind of pilot to see if it makes any difference. They are attractive, and I think people would read them.
Make it more
I think it's
sustainable.
better than nothing.
What's that, Gary?
To make it more sustainable, I understand there are now compostable doggy bags
Yes.
for poop. So you just toss them and it all decomposes right into the soil. It's
Well, not
beautiful.
Yeah, it takes a little while.
I did a lot of
Switch to
research.
poop with a bag.
Yeah, I did a lot of research on it when we adopted our latest dog in June. And first of all, it's not easy at all to find a truly compostable bag because they all claim biodegradability. And then if you just put it into your waste stream, then it's going to go into an anaerobic environment and contribute to methane gas and all this kind of stuff. So I started reading about how to make a compost thing contraption for your dog waste, and that's not easy either. So I get it.
Mm. And the
I've
other
seen some
thing
kind
we
of
find,
underground ones.
the other thing we find now on the streets or beaches are masks.
Yeah.
Yes, oh, yes, a lot of those.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard because you don't want to pick, certainly don't want to pick them up
Mm.
and without some gloves or a grabber or something, even if then, well, maybe the thing to do is when you spot one to let DPW know that it's there or some, see if someone,
Well, they're not going to go around and pick up litter either.
I think that's part of, they do the street cleaning.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
is,
there are areas that you will see someone every day throws a beer bottle. You know, there are areas where you'll see a new one, you'll pick one up every day.
That's right.
And you know that that person is not throwing it when they're going to be seen. So there would be no way of,
Mm.
you know, even following
Right.
up.
yeah,
And I just don't know. I mean, hopefully education to most people work, but I think some people are wired that, hey, it's fun to throw that bottle out the window or something, you know?
Well, and that's that don't tell me what to do kind of community too.
Yeah.
I was
Always.
thinking about the dog issue, the dog poop issue, and what about when the person gets a dog license? Is that an annual thing? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe that's a time when you can include a little piece of education from the Take Care campaign.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. That's a great idea.
I think one piece of education for dog owners is I think a lot of people think if there's snow on the ground, that it melts away with the snow. Because I don't know if you notice when snow melts
Yes.
is when you see a
I do.
huge
Yeah.
preponderance.
Yep.
Well, there's dogs are so lovable, but that part of it is.
It's the dog owners who are not so lovable.
Yes, that's right.
Pardon? I scoop my poop. I mean, my dog's poop.
Present company accepted, of course.
I like that dog license idea, and it's actually time to read it. It's probably not time to provide any educational materials, but I'll check with the town clerk about it. And
Yeah, we could maybe print up some postcards or little square, things very easily using that material. In fact, I think Chris already designed something from when we had the tax insert. So pretty much it's all ready to go. We just would need to, maybe we should get some sense of the number of licenses in Wellfleet and how many pieces of, paper we would need.
okay, I can find that out.
And we can also, of course, get it to them digitally for people that want it that way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, anything else on number 3? Oh, I don't have a number 4 here by mistake. Compost residential commercial services. So right now, there's Watts Family Farm, and they are based, I believe, in Sandwich and off Cape, just off Cape in some of the cranberry growing district of around Wareham. They collect, well, the town of Wellfleet collects residential food waste at our transfer station, which is something I think it's really low hanging fruit. It's something I wish all towns did. I don't know if, Provincetown could do it. Eastham, I think
Eastham, we're moving towards it.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, we're moving towards it. Yes. We're in the
Yeah.
throes of putting that together now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis picks it up. I think Mike, our transfer station foreman, says it runs really well. I've never seen any, food waste on the ground there. I go there pretty much every week to drop off food waste, or every 2 weeks. And Watts Family Farm collects it from the town of Dennis. It's consolidated in Dennis, and then it's taken off Cape for composting. Black Earth Compost, as we know, is this company that's offering commercial compost pickup, and that's something that would be great in the summer if that could happen. This time of year, I don't know if there's enough to make it really worthwhile, but again, residents could take advantage of this service as well if they didn't want to go to the transfer station, if they didn't have a dump sticker. And Nancy, you brought up the town of Hamilton that has a mandatory compost program now.
Yeah, I saw that article in the Globe last week. And basically they have curbside trash pickup. And if you don't put out a compost bin, they won't pick up your trash. But if you have a backyard one, you get some sort of marker on your bin that then, they would, take your trash.
Yeah,
Right.
that sounds great. I think they have a lot of farms nearby, so they're in a really good position, just
Well,
geographically.
and they're right next to Manchester by the sea where the Black Earth is. So that
okay.
probably helps as well.
Yeah,
But Cambridge has food waste pickup.
Mhm.
it's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Newton,
In
Streets
Somerville.
I'm familiar
Right,
with,
right,
have
yeah.
it too, the same company, Black Earth. I think
Mm.
Cambridge might have Save Our Stuff is the company that picks up from there, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not
That's
sure it is, but I know my daughter, is very happy with it. It's
Yeah.
it's a nice
And
service.
in New York City, they have it where you can take it to a farmer's market or other locations for composting.
Oh,
There's something like, 40%. It's a huge amount of food that's getting wasted in this country.
Yeah.
So it would be really, and it makes the great thing about compost is once you get that out of your trash is much drier. And
Right,
less
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
gross.
Yeah.
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 So that's something we keep
Well,
trying to
we've
promote.
been talking about ways to try to promote it. Yeah, Winslow's Tracy Huntberry, who's also a former recycling committee member, would be participated in one of the summits, previous ones. And she said that she would be very interested in trying to reach out to other businesses to try to get, once there was something available, to try to get some buy-in enough, but of course, getting enough to service is another issue, but I'll touch base with her and see if
Yeah,
what she
sounds
does.
good.
It's again kind of an iffy year. It's kind of a wait and see for a lot of businesses.
Mhm.
So about when things, how much business they're going to have. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'll check with her.
And then updates, swap shop, outdoor swap meet. Christine discovered that a new swap shop is not on the town meeting warrant for this spring, but it would be on for the year after, fiscal year 23, is that right?
Right, so
Yeah, so it's getting
through 20
on the road.
already.
None of the swap shops on the Cape are operating right now, but there are, thrift shops and Goodwill and Salvation Army and textile recycling opportunities. And also Amy, if I could, Amy, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing in terms of some of that material that would go to swap shops?
Yeah, I've been redistributing it to the Methodist thrift shop in Provincetown. I've been taking clothing to Mass Appeal, and they also take some things like they take some linens and kid stuff. And because the Methodists, the in Provincetown, they're not big on here, I'll even get out of the ocean there. They don't take a lot of toys in Provincetown. It's just something people should know. So I kind of rescue some of that stuff when I'm down there. I mean, I'm a little bit like the, I don't know, Johnny Appleseed, Robin Hood, something where if I can find a new place for this stuff, I really work hard to do that. And I have been remiss in getting signage up at my swap shop because I think people need to know what some alternatives are and where places are open that'll take these things.
Mhm.
And big bulky things like blankets. there's a homeless shelter in Hyannis that I've been dropping winter jackets and blankets and sleeping bags up there, and they're always happy to take that stuff. So it's really kind of, just I have a running list in my head and just keep sorting and dropping off.
That's great.
So if I'm happy to be contacted if people have stuff they, that I could pick up or that they need ideas about.
That might be a really nice post to do, Chris, with the list of, well, if Amy is willing to be contacted, or at least a list of places where you can bring stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are saying, God, I have all this junk. I don't know where to do with all my blah, blah, blah from all their cleaning.
Yeah, it'd be good for me to get organized to do that anyway. So Lydia and Christine have my contact info.
It's
Or
okay
I could put it,
make
Willing to
it
share
public,
email?
or, yeah.
yeah, I'll put it in, let's see if I can put it in the chat.
Is it just your email address, Amy, to share?
That's a good way to start,
Okay.
There is that large Goodwill, it looks like a truck without being connected at the dump, at the transfer station. Sorry, I keep doing that. And you can put a wide variety of things there, especially if it's
The
Oh,
textile.
rock.
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, though it's, what I try to,
It's huge, so.
part of my activism around this is to keep stuff on the Cape, to get it to people who can use it. I mean, mass appeal, if the clothes are decent, mass appeal, I think is a better option, because those hoppers, they're commercial basically, and it's a good thing that they're doing something with it. But I feel like if people on the Cape who need stuff can get it, or if you take it to the Methodist thrift shop in Provincetown, they do the soup kitchen and they really turn it into the value of it stays within the community. And I think that's a really important piece.
Mhm.
Yeah. Amy, are there any other places besides those two that you're aware of that are open right now?
I haven't ended up going up there, but I think the Habitat store, what do they call it?
The Restore in Yarmouth.
Reuse, yeah. And that's a good place for bigger things like furniture. If you have a single piece of furniture, and especially if you call ahead, the Methodist Church will often take it, like a dresser or a couple of chairs or a smaller table. They just don't have space for big things, which the reuse store is huge. It's like a showroom. And it's important to know, very important to know, that in Provincetown, the drop-off hours are only from 10 to noon.
Ooh.
And often if you're a procrastinator like me and you get there around quarter to noon, they'll say, oh, we're already, we're not taking any more donations. We have too many. So aim for between 10 and 11 if you want to drop stuff off in
Is that,
Provincetown.
weekdays or?
Every day but Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's AIM Thrift Shop will probably be reopening in the spring too for
Yeah.
saleable items. And
Oh.
the thing at the Wellfleet transfer station, the great big trailer for textiles, they'll take things that are, maybe wouldn't be considered wearable.
Right.
anymore.
That's the good thing about those. We have one in Truro as well, and that's great for stained clothing, torn clothing,
Yeah.
stuff that just really it's not fair to pass on and assume a thrift shop would sell it. And they will take
cleaned up.
care of that. Pardon?
Things should be clean, but it's okay if they're stained or.
Yes.
Or
Right.
And do they recycle it then?
they do.
Yeah, I think they turn it
Yeah.
into insulation or something.
Okay, oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
And do we know the name of that?
It's called, I think I'd have to look at it. I can't remember right now, but it's there at the transfer station. It's right alongside the swap shop.
Okay. Yeah, I know where it is.
The
I just
company
don't.
is, I think it's Bay State Textiles is the company that runs it. And it is a commercial operation. So they'll sell things that they consider wearable. The rest, like Amy said, will get chopped up and made into insulation, or they use, there's a lot of need for industrial rags, 100% cotton.
Mhm.
So things like that. They also accept pillows and shoes and cushions and stuff like that.
And there is a benefit to the, to your town, because you get paid something by the ton
Right.
for, but so that's the benefit. But again, that doesn't support anyone on the Cape nearly in the way that it would if it went to a local thrift shop or Mass Appeal.
Yeah, the nice thing about Mass Appeal, it's all free.
Yeah.
too, like you said. So save all the nicest things for those.
So I contacted about the swap shop, outdoor kind of a trunk swap or something idea. I called town hall and they said that the town has not changed their policy about permits for using town property, but they are taking requests on a case-by-case basis. And I left a message and sent an email to Hillary at the health department about the idea of doing some kind of an outdoor, restricted numbers of people where people can, big parking lot at the beach or something where Lydia thought we'd do like open your trunk and then people can go around and swap that way. In that way, nothing is left anywhere. Hopefully people have to. So anyway, but I haven't heard back yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, the limits on outdoor gatherings, that's something to consider too.
Yes, indeed.
So then we go to Carol and Energy and Climate Action Committee liaison.
The only
Carol?
thing I have to, oops. No,
No, I can hear you fine.
okay. Dick reported to us by email that the land court has come through and we are now slowed down 2 weeks while the select board now needs to grant an easement. This is about the
Solar panels.
panels at the dump. So,
Great.
so there is progress, and hopefully in another month or so, we'll see
Gosh.
that.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Every time I drive up and look at them, I think, what a waste, all that energy.
And so many months have gone by.
I know.
What, I
That's
didn't
great.
hear, what did you say at the dump? I didn't catch the.
This
The
is
solar
the
panels.
solar
at the dump.
panels. I'm sorry.
Ah.
Go ahead, Carol.
They were installed over a year ago, I believe, and they did that very quickly, but then there were some issues with the land, and it had to, because of the pandemic, it was hard to get it resolved through the land court quickly. So they did a workaround, and anyway, this land court has approved the project. Or
Well, I'm not clear. I think what they did was try to lease it, but when maybe the land court has actually ruled on it, that it's Wellfleet's land. That's the problem. They didn't establish clear title to the
I see.
land.
Well,
So,
it's great. Maybe there could be a little celebration or something, Carol, when it goes live. I think people are so, excited about that.
yeah, I hope it happens soon.
And that's going to power municipal buildings throughout Wellfleet. So school, fire, town hall, DPW.
Right. Plus, also, apparently, when you make an installation, you have to have a plan for where the power goes, and it's big enough that it covers not only all the municipal buildings in Wellfleet, but the Nauset school system has bought like I think 40% of the output.
Good.
So it's beyond Wellfleet.
Cool. Right, thank you, Carol. Water bottle refill stations. Christine wrote to, was it Hillary or to?
Same email as swap shop.
One thing that there's a, you know, it would be good to have the bottle refills rather than the bubblers maybe, because it seems like for public health and things, refilling the bottle might be a better way to go than having someone touch the handles or take off their mask and drink the water. I mean, that's a concern for this year. It may not be as big a concern for years going, you know, ahead. But just to try and get, once we get these two installed, maybe the ones we should go for in the future will be this plain refill. That'll also encourage people to bring their own containers.
Well, the two we're doing are just refill, like
Right.
the one at Bakersfield. Anyway,
Okay.
so the state policy for both any phase that we've been in since COVID, it has been to encourage use of refill, but to not make the bubblers available. But Wellfleet has chosen just to cover up any of the combined refill bubblers that are in municipal buildings, as well as the outdoor one that we installed at Bakersfield. So that has held up progress on installing the marinas unit and moving forward with the town hall unit that we still have the money from our Give Fund Drive to purchase. So I'm just trying to get some movement on that from Hillary so that I can tell the harbor master that yes, it can be used. Go ahead and install it. So that's where we are on that.
Maybe by Memorial Day, be nice to have it installed.
Hope so.
Yeah. Thanks. Social media posts and the website, Chris. I think you're on mute. So shall I say?
Sorry. So I didn't know that I was on for the website. I had
No,
said,
you're not.
yeah,
It's just-
okay.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
This
For the
is
social
published
media,
before we heard from you on that.
yeah, for the social media, I've been, you know, continuing to post on Facebook and Instagram. I do have some questions. So if I were to post something about these places to bring things, is it okay for me to mention actual organizations and businesses that, you know, like Mass Appeal and things like that? Is that all right for me to include that in our posts?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. And the same question for the shellfish farmers market. Is it all right for me to use that in our posts? Okay, because I want to do one about, you know, returning the bags and returning the shells.
Yeah, it's actually, it's organized by the shellfish department, so
Right. Okay.
it's not a private thing.
Okay.
But I think that, you know, we should get some clarification on that, because I have a question also about that Take Care Cape Cod. They asked if we wanted to be partners, but anyway, that's later. But about our ability to make recommendations and resources that might include private as well as nonprofits.
Right, right. Because I had one person respond to one of my posts on Facebook, and they said, you know, great suggestions. Can you keep posting more things like this and tell us where locally we can get some, you know, can shop in a more green way. And so I ended up messaging her just privately and said, you know, because we're, you know, we can't.
Right.
Do that. So
I'll
I'm just
get clarification on that.
yeah.
This came up with the Black Earth compost too, and sent a request to the town administrator about that. Can we promote a private business? They're the only ones that are offering this service. So, but they are a for-profit.
Yeah.
So what are the parameters
Did
there?
you ever hear back from her?
No, I haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
But I can send another email. And
Yeah.
there is on the town website, there is a policies section under, I think it's under reports and policies.
Right. I realized I had posted about Discover Books also at the transfer station. And
I think that's fine.
yeah, okay.
Because it's at the transfer station, so.
Yeah, that's right. Anything within those, I think within that.
That fence. Okay.
Lydia, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does Wellfleet have their own, or rather I should say, does the recycling committee in Wellfleet have their own Facebook page, or do you use the town's page?
We have our own, we have our own page, but generally what I do we don't have a lot of people who follow us on the Facebook separate page. I often repost things to the community Wellfleet
see.
page, and that's where more people engage with it. Instagram is the one that most people follow with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's something like 6,500 people on the community space.
Mm,
So,
Yeah.
big group.
That would be a good place to post something about dog poop collection.
Yes, yes, very
Yeah.
good.
I'll try to come up with some way of doing that.
Well, it could be like the
Some way of doing that.
Well, also, if it's dog license time, you can kind of connect the two, maybe.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe the tax insert where it's like one of other things, so it's not like just the poop.
That's right.
Your signage about dog poop could be, they don't have a thumb. Your dogs don't have a thumb, so you need to pick it up for them.
Too many words.
All right, let's go to anything more on the social media posts. The website is wellfleetrecycles.org, and also the social media Instagram handle is, or whatever you call it, is Wellfleet Recycles.
Wellfleet's recycling page is so phenomenal. It's so easy to find anything on it, as opposed to Eastham's where you can't find anything.
Do you mean the town page or the just our Wellfleet
And you
recycling?
go to
The
wellfleet.com,
town of Wellfleet website.
.mass.gov, whatever,
Mhm.
and click on, and there it is, recycling, and then there's everything so clear. It's fantastic. And it's so easy to find. We
Well,
don't
I'll
have
pass
that.
that on to Rebecca. I'm sure she'll be happy to hear that. She's the one who's been managing that page.
Yeah. We're having some, anyway, so we have the town webpage, our own website, Instagram, Facebook, and Chris has been taking care of the social media, which is great. And I'll start. I need to have like a pick your brain, Chris, on how to make things on both the town site and the Wellfleet Recycling, either, decide to keep everything here on bylaws or there, or then refer back or whatever. But anyway, I'll put some thought into that at some point.
Okay, next we have Community Cutlery Library of Things. We haven't had any requests recently, and there's really no activity yet, but maybe when the spring and summer season approaches, there'll be more requests for borrowing tableware from the recycling committee.
I could post about that too, just to remind people.
Yeah, it's not really, because the library isn't open, it's not really, okay. That one case was okay, but we probably don't want to open it up yet until the library reopens,
Right.
because that's where all of the all this stuff is now.
Okay. All right. I can hold off on that.
We could also, we should be able to provide if it's requested. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in terms of publicity, we can wait until it opens up.
Committee vacancies, we have one regular, this is as of June 30, and then 2 alternates. Let's go to the minutes. So those were sent out. Everyone's had a chance to read them, I hope.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve the February minutes?
Yes, I so.
Nancy? Thanks, Nancy. All in favor? Lydia, aye. Looks like it's all the recycling committee members. Christine, are you?
I'll break it down. Who made the motion? Jane made the motion and Nancy seconded it. And it's, how many are there now? 4 of us?
Yeah, Jaya had to.
Right,
to
okay.
mask it off.
That's 4-0. Thank you.
And then we have accounting report.
Yes, so I don't really have an accurate accounting report, but I have finally started working with our new accountant, Heather. And there are some issues that she's working on for us. The first thing was that they didn't put our operating budget. We have two budget lines, you know, one under recycling committee and one under the DPW, and they didn't have any verification that that really was ours, so they didn't give it to us. So I provided info for her, and she's working on that. So we get the additional $500. The second thing is that the $1,000 that we gave to the aquaculture interns last year was, it didn't get taken out of our operating budget, which it was supposed to have got taken out of our gift fund for the refill stations. And that was fiscal year 20. And so when I talked with Heather, she said, well, it's too late. It's already at the auditors. But then I explained to her that, you know, this was money that we raised from individuals and businesses and organizations for a specific purpose. And now it's gone. And, you know, that's an issue. And so she said that she would, with all the verification I provided for the deposits and actually where that money came from, she's going to work with the auditors who are currently working on the fiscal year 20 budget. So she's hopeful that we can get that money back into our gift fund from the general fund.
Great.
Anyway,
Important.
she's working on those things, and we'll see.
Sounds pretty complicated.
It
And
is.
Jane is there too, and Jane, I guess, is working on some of this material as well. Jane Tesson, she must remember or have.
Well, they need, you know, I had copies of, you know, the date of each check and who it was from and how much it was and which fund it went into. So that's what she needed to sort of have the background of where did the money come from. So, and the other thing was that they didn't give us our gift fund accounts back. We just had the operating budget.
Okay.
And she said, we haven't figured out, you know, where that money came from and all. And so I gave her all the information. So she said, yeah, you'll get
Well,
that.
thank God you were working.
So we
on
better
that.
get that. Anyway, so we're working on it.
Super. Any other, let's see, we have correspondence or future agenda items. Do you want to suggest an item for next time?
I think we ought to put like, well, I don't, maybe it's a little early right now. We should focus on outreach for the bottle ban and refill stations, but I think we should definitely put NIPS ban on our horizon for something to work on for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it is being tracked now, so.
Okay, and are there any other questions maybe from Gary or Lee or Amy?
Something, when we talk about glass bottles being turned into something else, when the bottle bills were first created, they were only for drinks that had bubbles, bubbly drinks. All those Snapple iced tea bottles, all the other juice bottles, you can't redeem them. They're just to be recycled. But the bubbly bottles, bubbly liquid bottles, you can redeem.
Yeah.
That could be a campaign to get all glass bottles redeemable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Wine bottles, all of
Yeah.
it.
Well,
There's the issue with that. One issue with that is in Massachusetts anyway. It's if you try to take something to one store, they may not provide that brand, and so they may not accept it back, which is a nightmare for them and for the consumer. So I think it's Maine, and maybe this is something we should look at as a universal deposit law where any container, no matter the brand, is returnable at every store. And so maybe that's something to look into. Refilling again is really the way to go, especially with glass, because it's so heavy. And even with the processed glass aggregate, it's that takes a lot of energy as well. So
And there's no recycling market for glass, none at
Right.
all, which is why the PJA thing was so great, because I think it was the last glass recycling company in Massachusetts closed a while ago.
mhm.
Um,
Right.
But that,
Well,
yeah, I remember reading about
I'm
the,
going to Maine tomorrow. I will
find
check
out.
Yeah,
there.
great.
But I
Universal.
believe
bottle
that's been in
faucet.
place for years and years. I do believe that is correct, that they've had it on all
Mhm.
drinks for years.
Right.
I was gonna mention that with the nip ban, I think it would be great to just work on having that be Outer Cape. Because especially, you know, I think that would encourage little towns like mine who don't like to be told what to do. If it were an Outer Cape thing, we could all work together. And of course, then it also makes it so people don't just come down to the Truro package store when they can't get what they want in Wellfleet.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
Hmm.
I need,
If we can collect, go ahead.
okay, I need to drop. Lydia, I'll be in touch with you about the Google Drive thing at another time,
Sure.
okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Bye-bye.
Alright, So
Actually,
it's almost 10 past 12. Sorry, did you have
I was
something
gonna
else?
say the Stop and Shop has recycling for whatever the label says
Mhm.
when it works.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, you can't.
If they sell it.
in there. The first time I went in there with my beer bottles, they spit out beer bottles. So it's only what they sell there that their machines take back in. They scan them and spit
Well,
it out.
and that's true all over. I've just discovered that too. So I kind of sort, you know, the things that even at Trader Joe, for instance, one of the Willie's seltzers, they only recycle the flavors that they sell even. So it really gets nutty. I mean, I kind of, you know,
Yeah.
enjoy the game a little bit, but I can't imagine it being functional for someone who's just trying to, you know,
Yeah.
take their stuff in. It's pretty inefficient.
Yeah. I think the stores, I know at least across the street, the package store in Wellfleet Center, they're not crazy about, they do make a little money. I think the state gives them maybe 3 cents on every deposit, or maybe it's less than that. So they are given a little bit of an incentive to provide the service. But maybe there's ways to improve it and to raise the amount that the store gets, because it is a pain to have to deal with all the bottles and cans.
When I tried to bring redemption there, you know, once the phase opened up so you could bring in redeemables again, she said that they're not going to take them, that they're too old to cart all that weight around. And she said, I'll give you your redemption amount, but then you have to take them, take them with you. So
Wow.
that's not the point.
So the recycling system's kind of broken, I think,
Yes.
judging from where we're at.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
problematic.
the package store in P-Town by Stop and Shop, I didn't have a long conversation with them, but they mentioned that they have to pay to have the machines outside.
Really.
So it's actually an expense to them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Lydia, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Since all the Outer Cape towns, with the exception of Truro, will be facing implementation of the single-use plastic water ban this fall, do you think there would be any value in all of us meeting, forming a coalition around this, since we're all faced with the same implementation challenges, to talk about those challenges? For example, even for the towns that, for all of us who will have to buy drinking fountains or refill fountains, you know, maybe if we pooled our purchases, maybe we can get a better deal on fountains for all the towns, things like that. And
Yeah.
also for those of our business communities that want to replace plastic with either aluminum or glass, maybe we can also create something where we can pool purchases for all the Outer Cape towns, have
Mhm.
one distribution point, and all of them can take advantage of those savings. Because I know that glass is heavier to buy, it weighs more, so it costs more. Aluminum, I understand, I think Christine and I learned at the meeting that we were at, that aluminum globally is at a great demand right now. So prices are up on aluminum. So aluminum cans are going to go up. So I wonder if there's any value of all of us getting together, forming a coalition around implementation of the ban and taking advantage of our group purchases.
I think it's a great idea. And what you can do is, if you want to try and form or schedule a meeting, and then it would probably be post it with your town clerk. So it's for open meeting laws, it'll work.
Okay.
There could be a joint meeting, and it could include Truro too. I know that Truro is with us in spirit on this. And,
They're with us.
Yeah.
They're just, I think Truro, Amy, you guys are implementing the municipal ban.
The municipal, yeah, it got bumped from the warrant last year, and so we
Right.
sort of fell a year behind. And I would very much like to participate in what you're talking about, so that, that's just that much more mojo again for getting the commercial ban next year, get it going, and
Yeah.
sort of having this collaborative, peer pressure,
From the other towns.
yeah, it's not that scary. We can do it. And we
Yeah.
have so many fewer places that'll be affected. So I would be real interested in.
Well, Gary, since you have contacts for Orleans and P-Town, and
P-Town.
us, do you want to try to get
Sure.
some?
Sure. Let me try and put something together, Christine.
And we can start with just, working together on materials and outreach for
Yeah.
the ban and.
I think it could be a valuable quarterly thing to do, just to,
Yeah,
again, get the Outer Cape more integrated and share ideas and
that'd be great.
perhaps create some events. I've been wanting to research these companies that recycle videotape and cassette tape for people who still have that lying around. And if I get it to, if it is feasible, it'd make a lot more sense to invite the Outer Cape towns and make it a big event rather than me do a small event, tell you guys you do, it just.
Right.
So.
Sounds good.
cool.
Okay.
P-Town has a lot of experience with refill stations. They've had like several refill stations in their DPW budget every year. So, and they've been bought all kinds of different ones. So they'd be a great resource for.
Does that get done through the DPW, or is it the recycling committee that's been
It's through the
spearheading
DPW.
that?
Yeah, P-Town's really lucky with their DPW. They're very progressive.
Yeah, I have a very militaristic DPW who he's a good guy, but nothing's easy.
Right.
There's also community preservation. Some towns, I think it's Falmouth, that used community preservation funds for water stations.
That's good to know
But there
too.
may be the recreation
Recreation
category.
Department.
And I'd love to hear Concord's experience too, because they've been installing refill stations in the town since 2014. So they
Yeah.
would definitely have some. How do they hold up?
All right, so it's 12:15. I think our next meeting is going to be April 6th. But if Gary, maybe the group that you get together could be before or after, whatever. But you're always welcome to come to.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you. And it might be, if I'm invited, I'd love to come to the April meeting to give everyone a report on this coalition between all the 4 Cape
Good idea.
towns and working together on this implementation of the ban.
Well, we've already got 3 towns right here, so we're
Yeah, sure.
we're on the way.
Yeah. So
And
let's
all-
do it. Let's make it happen.
all
Thank you,
meetings are
Gary.
open.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
So when
Thanks
it-
for inviting us. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
So you adjourning,
Lee
Lydia?
and Gary.
Over and out. Thank
Over
you so much.
Bye, Lee. Thanks.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Yeah,
Motion
thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Well, please hang on. We've got a motion to adjourn here. Because we're all
Will
gone.
we adjourn?
Okay, yeah. I guess it's done. General consensus, basically. So again, Lee and Gary, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Thank you again.
You're welcome, sure. Bye, Lee.